Hey folks, we're back again with another video, and these are 2-pound little medicine balls. I'm doing this video because we have found these have been pretty useful for our kiddos, especially with their regulation and kind of sensory seeking and developmental needs. The cool thing about these is we have used these for working with our youngest son, who has had the most struggles. If you've listened to any of our other videos, we mentioned him a lot, and he has a lot of problems with like regulation and trying to express himself, and instead of doing that, many times he just screams. And so using these, we've actually implemented several different things that help him to regulate and to calm down. And it's surrounding these. So whether that's him carrying them around or us rolling them and having him get them and bring them back, it almost sounds like a game of fetch, but it really helps him out because it's fun for him to be able to carry these things around and to, almost play like a catch game with it. Obviously, we don't want to throw these because, 2 pounds are not super light, super heavy, but they're light enough for him to be able to use them. And so we don't want to encourage throwing these around because that could get dangerous. But these are really nice. They're just the right amount of weight for him, being, 2 years old. He can carry these without too much trouble, but the act of carrying them around for a length of time helps his whole body to kind of calm down and to get into a better state of being able to express himself again. We kind of found it a little bit by accident. Our therapist hadn't really talked about this too much. We had looked into things like weighted vests, which we actually will have a video coming on that here in the future. But before we got the weighted vests, we were kind of just at our wit's end at one day with some of his behavior, and he happened to have got a hold of these and had dropped them somewhere and in near our kitchen area, which we have gated off. And so my wife had just picked it up and rolled it down the hallway, and he at first got very mad at it, ran back and picked it up and dropped it back in there again. And so she did it again, and it became this game. And as they continued to work on this, he started calming down. And, come to find out later that this is, pretty normal. We talked to one of our therapists about it, and it's something that that OT therapists do, occupational therapists do incorporate many times, using weighted objects and having the kids move around and carry it around. Not only does it, can calm them down, but it also builds up necessary muscles. So I'm sure we could do some better things with them, but these are just kind of the suggestions that we have at this point. So it helps, to build up. He has different coordination now, rolling it and grabbing it and picking it up and carrying it around. And then as well as, learning some regulation to it. And then just that weight and that sense of, because when he's carrying it, obviously he's not carrying it with one hand like what an adult could. He's carrying it both hands pushed up against his chest, which, has been shown, with other different sensory regulation things like autism and whatnot, that pressure against their body helps them to calm down and kind of regulate a little bit. So I don't claim to know a ton about it all, but these are just kind of some of the things that we have researched and learned and that seem to be helping for our kiddo. So again, it's just 2-pound little, they call them like medicine ball weights. We didn't get these on Amazon. I actually forget where we got these. We've had them for quite a while, but if you can look them up, I'll put a link to these ones that I found. Very simple, straightforward ones. Obviously, it's not something to be chewed on or anything like that, so they don't make them as such, but the ones I found were about $17 for a set of 2 as well. So you can pick those up pretty easily and then try to incorporate those into your daily routine for your kiddos, if that makes sense. Let us know actually if you've done anything like this or if you've used any sort of weighted items. Again, we've checked out some weighted vests as well as weighted blankets. You do have to be pretty particular on some of that stuff because there's a lot of information as far as what actual weight amount that you need. And there's a lot of different information out there. We've heard that some of it is a little bit conflicting because, one person says one thing, a certain percentage of the kiddo's body weight versus someone says, that's probably too much. So if you do have any questions about that, I would suggest if you do have an OT that you work with, ask them about it. And then, do some, additional research, or do both. Ask them and do research. And then whatever you kind of feel comfortable with is the best answer for your kiddo, because no one knows your kiddo best than you do. But definitely I would talk to an occupational therapist about it, because, they can give you some additional tips and hints for some of this stuff, as well as, obviously evaluating your kiddo to see what they need, whether, something like this would work, or whether they need a weighted vest or blanket to help them best. So let us know in the comments below what kind of your experiences with any of this kind of weighted items. We'd be very interested in hearing what you guys have to say, and if that could, in the future help our kiddos out as well. And it'd be great to share that with the rest of the community. So do stay tuned though, also for new videos coming up. We'll have some other different DIY project ideas for learning and motor skills, and again, some sensory bends. I'm trying to get that all together as far as the materials and the videos and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. We'll talk to you all later.